name is I work in the security field. I used to work in counter-terrorism. I was a former federal air marshal, and now I work in the private sector doing security. I wanted to create a video today about the Mandalay Bay attacks and what you could possibly do if you get caught in those things. Okay, before we start addressing this whole issue, I want to send out my deepest condolences to anyone that was involved in it. It's a horrible, horrible tragedy, and my sympathies go out to all of you, and I simply hope to make this video that if somebody in the future gets caught in it, they might give themselves a better chance to evade the situation. But again, there's no guarantees in this situation, and I want to make that absolutely clear. This is only a tool, but I cannot guarantee anything for you. Okay, so in the video today, we'll be going over the emotions you're going to meet when presented this kind of situation. We're going to talk about the situation itself. We're going to talk about the reactions to the situation, and then finally we're going to talk about what you can do to get yourself out alive as best as possible. So, let's begin with the emotions. So, it's completely normal that your initial emotional reaction will be that of fear. 99% of the population, when they hear gunshots, they will feel fear. Even right now, while we're talking and you're in a safe space, just by me bringing up the subject of the gunshots in the Mandalay Bay incident, you might get a primal feeling of fear, which is fine. And it's good that you're getting these feelings in a safe space so you can kind of cope with them and understand that this will happen. The problem with fear is when we can't channel our energies into a productive manner, it becomes panic. And that's something we want to avoid. And today, the goal will be to give you some tools that will help you avoid panicking in those kind of fear-ridden situations. So it's a pretty scary situation to think about, right? And it's perfectly valid that fear immediately arises in you. But in order for us to best address the situation, we're going to have to address it from a logical standpoint so we can come up with the best solution. So let's look at the situation a little bit more in depth. So we had one shooter in the Mandalay Bay from the 34th floor shooting in a downward trajectory, a weapon that was pretty much made automatic, to the concert venue. The concert venue had 22,000 people in a very, very condensed area, which was also an open air area. He shot in a spray and pray kind of fashion, which means he didn't take his time and acquire each target, but he just shot as many bullets as he can into that general area. The reason that spray and pray method caused such traumatic results was because everybody was so closely condensed here. If everybody was spread out and he had to acquire targets individually, he would have had much less success. And it's important because that's what's going to yield a good or bad reaction. So let's talk about reactions. One reaction we saw is that people tried to play dead. So I think people might have seen this from TV or movies about war, where they have seen that a soldier pretends to play dead, then the enemy soldiers assume he's dead, so they keep going past him and he tricks them and gets to live another day. This accounts on the fact that in that war, the enemy soldiers are smart enough to conserve their ammunition and not waste it on a target they seem as unnecessary. In this situation in the Mandalay Bay, when we had a crazed shooter just shooting downwards in that whole spray and pray manner, where he wasn't being efficient with his bullets, he was just shooting wherever he could, that wouldn't work because he's not concerned about saving his ammunition. So again, if we hear this rapid automatic gunfire, we can understand that playing dead won't help us in this situation. Another reaction people had, and you saw in the videos people yelling this, was to get low and stay on the ground. Now, it's a very common reaction, and it's a good reaction, but for a very different situation. So, let's look at this for a second. If we're in a building where this is the floor level, and there's a ceiling above us, and we feel that we're over here, and we know that somebody is shooting in this direction. Right now, how we're standing, we give him a 6 foot or a 1.80 meter surface area to shoot at. Once we lie down, we decrease our surface space that is exposed to him to about 1 foot. So again, it's in between 6 feet and 1 foot. So you can understand the value in this. There's tremendous value in it. But what happened in the Mandalay Bay, and you have to remember, it was an open venue. There was no ceiling there. So therefore, there could also be a possibility of being shot at from a vertical angle. So if you lie down, it doesn't really matter anymore because you're not getting shot from here, you're getting shot from here. And that same big surface space is still a big surface space when you're lying down, just because it's getting shot down towards. So with that being said, even if it was a horizontal area, we'd still want to move. We always got to move. So it's a great initial reaction to get low, but then you have to move. Like you always see in all the movies and all the YouTube clips that you might see, if a high-ranking government official or president gets shot at, his bodyguards swarm him, they get low, and then they immediately move. That's the most important thing. You got to move. Just get out of there and evacuate. And that's going to lead us to the third reaction. So let's look at the third reaction people had. A lot of people simply ran. And in this situation, it was the best reaction to have, because this whole attack, it lasted 15 minutes, and it was all geared toward this concentrated mass of people. So if you were able to run and escape this concert venue and just go somewhere else between minutes 1 to 2 to 3 and so forth, you just increase your chance to escape it. Now again, all these people that just slayed for cover, they had no idea what to do, and they were doing their best. But the situation where people were able to save themselves the most probably came from people just running and fleeing the situation. So again, if you get caught in this situation, just run. Run, run, run. Escape that firing zone, that danger zone, and just run. So let's summarize and talk about what you can do. First of all, this is a horrible situation. This is a situation where you can't be proactive and you're forced to become reactive here. So with that being said, the main three things we can do is, first, we want to get small. We're going to duck. We're going to try to listen and understand where the threat is coming from. And then we're going to try to run towards the other direction and flee from where the danger is. So again, we're going to get small, immediately try to get ourselves into a small surface space, try to analyze the situation, understand where the threat is coming from, where they're shooting to, and from there we're going to flee and disperse while staying small. And if you can't remember those three things, just run. Just evacuate and just run. If you're in a crowded place where people are probably shooting to the vicinity of the entire crowd, just get away from the crowd. Just run as fast as you can towards somewhere else. With that being said, if you have a loved one with you, if you have a child with you that you think can panic, don't grab them by the arm and run, because they might try to run a different way. You have to take control of the situation, and in order for them to not panic, just grab them here. It's what we call like tunneling someone, so they can only see the tunnel vision to the floor. You grab them and you run with them to wherever you need to go. That way they can't try to push somewhere else, so they don't start panicking and freezing. You don't give them that situation. And a last thing you can do is how we heard people saying, stay on the floor, get low and stay there. You yell, disperse, run, evacuate. Just give people a tool that when they panic because they don't know what to do, you can give them something to use. There are no guarantees in this situation. It's a difficult and horrible place to be at, and nothing guarantees that you'll get out alive or unharmed. But I feel like these are tools that you can use and maybe give yourself a better situation and a better opportunity to survive this. If you felt this was valuable, please share it with your loved ones, with your friends, with your family, and thank you for listening.